Hi, and if you've been watching my shorts, this is the video I've been promising for quite a while now. Just to give you a background on why it's taken so long. Basically, been changing things around in the house and everything else. I'm just sitting upstairs at the moment in my old office. I used to have all my computer equipment behind me here. We've changed it around now and we're just using it temporarily, which is why there's loads of pinholes in the wall for pinning stuff up and sorting things out and planning new stuff and stuff in the future. And been obviously busy. If you've been watching my shorts, you know I've been doing a lot of powerlifting, a bit of bodybuilding to start off with. And I wouldn't say I've 100% changed the way I do things, but I think it's important to have change. Social media and the internet doesn't really like that. People follow people for a reason. I worked that out on Instagram. People follow Toilets of the World because they like seeing Toilets of the World. People follow black and white photographers because they like seeing black and white photography. People follow X person because they like seeing the same thing over and over and over again. People must like boredom and monotony. So when someone like myself changes from doing one thing to another, you drop off followers, you lose followers. Now I can understand that. The really weird thing is, just because you don't like something on BBC One doesn't mean to say that you just get rid of BBC One. You leave it there until something interesting comes on. But YouTube's not like that, I found out. People then unsubscribe from following you. I don't really know why. I think it's probably because you don't come up in their feed. The only downside to that is then you'd miss something when it was interesting. So ever since I've had YouTube, I follow people. I don't unfollow anyone, because the reason I don't unfollow them is because they were interested at the time. They'll probably still be interested. They may just not be putting out interesting content at the moment, or they may have changed what they do, or I may have changed the way I want to see things, i.e. I don't want to see anything much about photography, never have. I want to see things more about fitness and everything, so I tend to follow people that know a lot about diet, nutrition and fitness at the moment, and I don't unfollow anyone. As I say, I keep going because the people that I followed or took the time to follow, I do find they do and say interesting stuff, but I just may not be interested at the moment in time. That's just my opinion on that. So, Self-Portrait Reflection Project 2025. I'm not going to drop photographs in here as I talk. I'm just going to put some from the feed in at the end of this. It's easier for me, and it's probably better for you to look at than me interrupting you in the feed by putting pictures in front of my face or dropping them up here or down here. If you follow my shorts in the morning, you'll get an idea of what I'm up to every day. That may be boring for some people, and I know there's not a lot of photography stuff going on at the moment. At the end of the day, if you've been following my shorts, you know I've had a load of problems with Jake and a load of other shit going on. So my head's not been in the right space to do a lot of things, and especially photography. I will just say this before I get into what I'm talking about. Fujifilm have brought out a Fujifilm half camera. I think it's more designed for portrait style images. I've not really looked into it, and it's about 600 quid, which I think is really, really cheap. I think all these camera manufacturers and brands are technically missing the point though. When I used to get asked a lot of times about what camera do I think is great for my son, daughter or whatever, I would always think to myself, well, they've got it already. They've got an iPhone. You spent £1,000 on a phone for them. They don't need any other camera. But if you're going to start getting people interested in photography again, you need to make a camera. I'm talking to you, Fujifilm, and everybody else. You need to make a camera at a price point that's going to get young people interested in photography, and you don't do it. No one makes a cool, fun, you might call Instax that, but it's not, because it's too expensive to keep buying the bloody film to put in it. No one makes a cool, funky camera for kids and teenagers anymore. No one does. It really needs to come back. If you're going to get people into photography for the future, maybe they start on a phone. I don't know, but maybe they should just have a camera, because phones are too distracting. They distract away from it. The project I'm doing now, Self-Portrait Reflection Project, I'm doing on my phone. I have noticed that people that are doing the project, a lot of them are doing it on their phone as well. Now, I don't derive anything from that, except that's the way things are going. But I still do believe in Fujifilm and all the other brands, but I just think they need to bring something in at the right price point. You can buy a phone for 600-700 quid these days, and once you've bought a phone, you're probably not going to go out and buy a 600 or 700 quid camera. I literally have my Fujifilm cameras, my favourite ones, my signature cameras, sitting in a drawer just over there. Haven't used them for ages. I was asked the question, will I be using them again? Yeah, probably. I just have too much on. When I take my dog out for a walk in the morning, I put my phone in my pocket, my glasses in my pocket, put my lead on my dog, and I get out and I start walking. I don't really have time to think about sorting out a camera for the day and what type of photography I might be doing, whether I'm going to be photographing squirrels. We're not going to be doing that, and I don't really go anywhere where there's any type of street photography. I like to walk where there's no people, so that sort of counts street photography out. So basically, the answer to anyone that wants to know, will I be doing street photography, etc. again? Yes, I will. I walk my dog 5 miles a day. When I'm away in the Peak District, the Lake District, and up in Scotland, and there isn't really any city stuff to do street photography. And having a good break from it is really, really good for me, and it really makes me think in a different way. And so when I get back into, basically when I haven't got a dog anymore, which is, who knows when that could be, it was nearly recently, but when I haven't got a dog again, I will probably not go out at 6:30 in the morning and walk my dog for 5 miles because I haven't got one. So I will probably move my walk later in the day and walk 5 or 6 miles around Liverpool, or jump on a train and go somewhere else and spend my time doing the same length of walk, doing street photography, enjoying street photography again. At the moment, I'm enjoying walking my dog. So it is coming back. And this summer, at some point in time, when I get together with Barry or someone else, Warren, what I will do is I will go out in Liverpool and I'll shoot a street photography video again, but from a different angle and a different point of view. Going back to the manufacturers, I think they're making some really good cameras. £600 isn't a bad price point, but it is out of some people's range again. And I know the GFX and all the other great big Fujifilm stuff are in the thousands and thousands of pounds bracket, and they're making a load of money out of it. I'm sure they are, and they're catering for the higher market. Brilliant. They need to cater for everyone else now. They need to cater for people who haven't got that money. You know, at the end of the day, I think they really do, and that really will get people back into photography rather than these high-end, high-point cameras. But obviously, I've got to make money in the first place so that they can make the cheaper ones. So I get that. So I've diversified a bit at the beginning. Sorry about that, but anyway, here goes. Thank you to everyone that's been taking part in the self-portrait reflection project. I didn't think there'd be as many as there is. I expected 4, 5 or 6. I don't know whether I said that in the beginning. And there's 20, 30 people, and there's some people dipping in and out of it. Some people starting now. Some people starting all over the place, which I said everyone can do. Personally, I started in January and I'm going to finish in December. That's when I do all my projects, and I'll start another project next year. So I've still got my photographic projects on the go, but there's not much to video. That's why I'm just doing a catch up today. I've done this catch up early because we're not halfway through the project yet, and I said I wasn't going to do one until we're halfway through. So I'll put some images at the end of this from various different people that have been taking part in the project. I probably won't be able to put their names on the pictures, but they'll be able to see them and know they are. If you want to find out who all these pictures are, just put the hashtag Self-Portrait Reflection Project 2025, which I'll put below, into Instagram, and you'll find all the photographs that have been taken. There's also a Facebook group for which some people are in. I have really tried and struggled over the last few years to actually find something that everyone's doing, because some people don't do Twitter anymore. I've got Twitter, I don't do it anymore. I've got 3 Instagram accounts, one for powerlifting, one for myself, and one for this project and my street photography stuff. They're all open now. I used to have one of them closed, but they're all open now, so feel free to find them. I'll put the links below with some other gumph, and you can follow along. I used to have them closed just so a little bit of privacy and I could put some things, anything I wanted on there. But now I've just opened them all up because there is no point in having social media if it's not open to social. So that's the way I see it now. My Facebook account I think's closed, but that's because you get so much stupidity on Facebook. Instagram is relatively stupidity free. Twitter's completely lunacy now because free speech is the in thing, and there's just free speech means you can just swear and abuse people and call people what you like. I don't really think that's the idea of free speech myself, but I don't get it. What is the point in going on there and creating controversy to create great YouTube content and creating chaos? I'm more into having a really nice time, enjoying myself, looking after my health and fitness, and taking nice photographs. I don't want to go out there and create shit just to get views. There is just no point at all. Do I watch some of it? Yeah, I do. I just think it's sad now. It's gone mad, and the politics and everything else has gone to lunacy. But maybe that's what the world wants. So the project itself, when I first started this, I didn't know what I was going to do, and I said I didn't know what I was going to do, and I'll put some of my pictures at the end as well. I'll put my pictures right at the end, and it's evolved. Obviously, the last self-portrait reflection project I did was coffee shops and windows and things like that, and the project went in books, went in magazines, got loads of recognition, And I didn't want to repeat that, and I wanted to do something different. So what I did was I just took my phone out with me, and every week I take a photograph, and it's something that comes into my head. And in the beginning, I was trying to get this sort of like perfect picture of me in a certain place and line it up on a third or whatever and get it right and make the balance look right so that people would know where to look in the frame. I tend to now keep myself over to the left of the frame so anyone looking for me can sort of find me, but I'm looking at more ambiguous sort of images and reflections now that you can hardly see me in it. So I'm not really the focus of the image, which has become more abstract in a way and something I've never really been into. So through this project already, I'm exploring the objective of confusion, I suppose it is, because that's what's going on in my head at the time. And also I come up with this idea, I think, oh, I'm going to take that photograph this week and I'm going to do it that place and that there. And then things change and it changes. And also, if you've ever done a self-portrait reflection project, you'll know that where you point your phone or your camera isn't always where your reflection is. So sometimes it goes a little bit wrong, and so those mistakes look good as well. I've got loads of ideas in my house of where to take reflections, but I'm tending to go from home to out for a walk and everything else, and that's why it's evolving. There's some really, really brilliant stuff out there. It's really, really interesting how some people focus on themselves in a self-portrait, which I think is really good as well. When my first one, Windows and Coffee Shops, I focused on my reflection, but including street photography in it. And this one's completely different. And every single person I think that's doing this project is doing it from a different place and a different angle. Some people are using cameras, one guy's using a GFX, some people are using phones, people are using everything. But what I'm shocked about is the amount of people taking photographs and enjoying it. A lot of people I know and a few people that I don't know, even from other countries, are actually joining this project and using the hashtag. As I say, I'll put the hashtags below. Once we reach the halfway point on this 52-week project, I will do another video and do a catch up as well. But I just wanted to tell people that I'm still here. I am mostly on shorts in the morning when I'm walking Jake, but it's more about what I'm doing each day and how my training's going in powerlifting. For anyone that's not watching that, I used to powerlift in my 30s. I got to British Championships, British Standard, and I was going to go for the Worlds, and I had a car accident and damaged my back. So it stopped me training. I haven't trained for 30 odd years, and through all the stroke and everything else that's going on, which I hardly talk about much anymore, except I just did. But I started doing weights again to get strength training to help with my back. And also then I got into powerlifting again. I did a bench press competition a few weeks ago for a charity, just got a little medal. And I'm doing another bench press competition on the 20th of July. And I aim to do the British and the English bench press championships next year in my age and weight class, which is M3, 93 or 82 and a half, depends where I get to. I'm struggling with deadlift and I'm struggling with squat at the moment. My bench is obviously the best because I've got back damage and a lot of other stuff going on. I'm not too sure whether I'm going to go back to full powerlifting or just do powerlifting this year and next year and then drop back to bodybuilding to help with strength and my strength training, etc., keep my body weight down and help my body move about now I'm getting older. I don't know. So sorry to bore you with that in this. But anyway, thank you all for watching today, and thank you for watching the shorts in the morning. If you watch the shorts in the morning, you will know what's going on all the time on my YouTube, because that's where I just spend 3 minutes every morning just doing a catch-up, telling you what's going on. And I will do a long-form video on street photography, and I will do another video on this, and I'll definitely do one on this at the end of the year. I just don't really have the mindset for doing long-form videos at the moment. And if you look at the likes of everyone else that does it, Sean Tucker and everyone else, they're all following this same theme of what they do in photography, which is great for you as a viewer, but we all change. And I do not want to, now I'm retired, be shoehorned into a corner to doing the same thing and the same content and putting the same content out for the same people all the time, because I don't think it works for me, and I definitely don't think it will work for you guys long term. Maybe now I just appeal to retired people over 60 about fitness, training, eating. I don't want to go too far down that route because everyone thinks I'm a lunatic, but I like watching that sort of thing at the moment, so that's what I'm watching. I don't watch or look at a lot of photography stuff. I never have done. I buy books, and I tend to look at books more. And the reason I don't look at stuff online is because I don't want my ideas skewed when I'm doing projects, and I don't even know what project I'm going to do next year. So anyway, Thank you to everyone that's been doing this project. Sorry to mix this video up a little bit with everything else I'm doing. Your work's lovely. I have been quite inspired by some of the stuff I've seen. I'm very impressed by the different types and looks at this self-portrait reflection project this year. I honestly don't know what to do next year in the way of a project, but I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it as something like a 52-week project where I can just take my phone out of my pocket and use it. And maybe if a cheap camera comes out from Fujifilm in the 200 quid mark, 250 quid mark or something like that, that shoots and looks a bit funky, that shoots in a way a phone does, etc., and that makes it easy to upload, blah, 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 then maybe I'll incorporate that and do a project like that. Maybe do a portrait. Maybe the camera they brought out now is good, the Fujifilm half, and maybe in 6 months to a year, it'll be half price in second hand in the shop. So that'll be about 250 quid. So I might even get one of them, who knows. But anyway, take care, look after yourselves, see you on the short in the morning.